I'm not going to dwell too much on the videos that Americans put online. I'm going to speak to it a little bit, but I asked real quick that you get a pen and paper. I'm going to make a few comments that I think you should write down and really review. All right, so now that you're back, a few things that I'm going to ask you to think about, and this is going to go to why this video is so important, and that's some of the psychology behind negotiations, and quite honestly, that's a huge piece of negotiations that people often miss. People are being given a Hobson's choice, and that's a term you should write down and maybe look at, because it's important to understand what that is. This is not a take it or leave it offer, nor should it be. We're not in bankruptcy. Bankruptcy gave us that Hobson's choice. It forced us into those types of decision making, and it played on people's emotions. And the company is trying to play on your emotions, and they're doing a fantastic job of trying. But I believe through a lot of education to the membership out there, they're failing. And in fairness, I appreciate that from the membership, because we are not in a position to concede. And the craziness of this is, as they build this brand new headquarters building where they are expanding massive amounts of square footage for the leadership team and the management team and the team that they talk about, they want to shrink our workplace down to the minimum amount they can. And aircraft maintenance specifically, let me talk to that. In bankruptcy, American Airlines their ask in bankruptcy was 40% outsourcing in man hours. That's where it began. And granted, the union changed, and I'm not a fan of how it changed, and we got to the point we got to, so to speak, through that negotiations. But 50% is what they're asking for today in the base world. And 15%, again, outsourcing and line maintenance is incrementally higher with the expansion of the Airways fleet. Yet, it's not outsourcing. They think we're dumb. We're not dumb. We're not stupid. And we need to fight for a fair contract. And this is a fight. They have done that through that video. They are trying to convince you to take a bad deal. And that is another catchphrase, right? Because I said about psychology, that's Stockholm Syndrome. You can write that down as well, Stockholm Syndrome, and look that up. What they do is they do these little parties. The Customer Cup on the fleet side is a great example. What is the Customer Cup? It's something they made up to make people feel like they're winning something. It's actually a game to toy with emotions. Toy with your emotions. And here's another one, the little lottery they put out there, and they roll the little thing around that Doug does every quarter. Why did that fail at United when they tried to do that? Because it took away from everybody and gave to a small few. And again, it's playing with people's emotions. Ooh, I have a chance of winning the lottery. And the lottery, even though I do play it too, is fool's gold. People know that. But people get excited by it, and they go buy a ticket in hopes of winning hundreds of millions of dollars, even though the odds are so bad. And the odds are bad because it's playing on your emotions. And those videos are trying to get to your emotions. A taxi premium. It's not a taxi premium. There's a concession tied to that. 6 weeks of vacation. 6 weeks of vacation at 30 years. United gets it at 24, and they get 7 on the mechanic side at 29. You know what that week would have meant to me when my dad was dying of cancer? That was stolen from me? 1 week was stolen, folks. The other week was conceded in 2003. Make no mistake about that. And nobody can give that time back to you or your family. And think about it. That week that you're working, those folks at United are on vacation or away from work. They're getting a free week of pay, and you're there working for the man, giving your time to the company, breaking your back. And that's the sadness of how they're approaching this. And the expansion of management is massive. The buildings, not one building, buildings they're building are massive. Why in the age of technology do we need all these people at headquarters instead of the computers running those areas of the company? That's what I wonder. Why do they need to outsource our jobs? Do they need all those people to think about how to outsource us as labor? As Robert Isom said, he tells his friends and family that they should come work for American. Of course he does. In the Taj Mahal headquarters building that they're building. Well, our jobs are outsourced to South America and everywhere else around the world. And we'll put some picture to that here shortly. It's being worked on where Americans' plans are to go, and where they're hiring people. And I'll be damned if we let that happen at the bargaining table. And that's where this contract needs to get done, at the bargaining table. To put another thing in perspective, again, psychology behind this madness that the company's trying to convince you of. They're making $1 billion around in bag fees, pure profit. I believe it's tax-free. They're making $1 billion around, so, and they can't deny this because they talk about it in their 8K and their 10K, in credit card fees. Pure profit. Nothing to do with what we do, just pure profit, but they don't want to share any of that with us. $2 billion in credit cards and bag fees, but they can't find 39 million, their estimate, I think it's lower, but 39 million to give us medical for busting our backs and our bodies and our careers. There's no bridge to retiree medical, something that United has, something that Southwest has, something that the IAM has today at Airways. It's not in their proposal. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about how profit sharing is done at Delta, but they want to talk about a 2% pay raise. 2%, I'll take the risk on the Delta profit sharing, and that is where the money's at. So don't be fooled by fool's gold. Another thing that's important to understand, and again, I think it's important for people to say, these videos are raw. I don't read off a script. I might look at some notes that I've written down. I don't read off a script. I live the life of what we do. The people in these videos, they have to read off a script because they don't really know what we do. They have people that tell them what we should be doing and how we should be doing and how outsourcing is a great thing. Smoke and mirrors, folks. Smoke and mirrors. And we better take this fight to the company soon. And tell your managers that you're disgusted by what you saw. Tell management enough's enough. Do your job. Nobody's asking you not to do your job. But make sure they understand the disrespect they've put on the table, and you're not falling for this bait and switch, showing you the highlights of the good stuff. Meanwhile, the jobs go away. The premiums that they talk about are the best in the industry. They're not the best when they tie language to them that doesn't give you the best. The dollar amount might be the equal to the best. Equal to the best. But not what comes underneath on how you make that money that they say you're going to make. At double time and a half, I can assure you that more mechanics will be off on the holiday than ever before. I worked under double time and a half. And you know what? The majority of us were off. But at time and a half or halftime, you're damn right they bring everybody into work, working us at half pay for how many years? And here's the craziness of this. The stuff that we're talking about, 20 plus years ago, we had better. And they're not even willing to get to 20 years ago. That's our fight. I'll leave you with this. American has 950 or so airplanes in their fleet. Again, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I'm going to use estimates. And undisputed, because you can go to the 10K and 8K and see this detail. 950 airplanes. Delta 850. United 750. We are 10% larger than Delta, 20% larger than United, and they want to talk about how it's going to cost more? You're damn right it's going to cost more. You're damn right it's going to cost more. And it should. Because your employees, us, the membership, deserve it. And I know they watch these videos, because half of what they did was to try and counteract what we've said in the past as a negotiating team and what the membership has said in the past on the floor. And they're trying to convince you about taking a bad deal. And I'm here to say no deal is better than a bad deal. A bad deal we have to live the rest of our careers under.